Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gridiron 2021. Dr. Ron Poniewasz, joined by Larry Kelly, the professor and the director of the groove ship, as he likes to say, self-profess.
I like it. The director of the groove ship. Yes. And, I sit in that role very comfortably because I know that you and the captain of the ship, Pete Sirianni, you guys need direction. Neither of you are married, and that's why you don't have enough direction in your life. And so I'm here to give it, the director of the groove ship.
I'm here to tell you that's how I have extra sanity in my life, Larry Kelly. Hopefully you're buckled up and buttoned up with your football knowledge this week, because we've got a lot of segments to talk about. We've got Athlete of the Week. We've got your Newcastle Red Hurricane, probably 2.5 hour segment this week. We're going to we'll tell everybody our great 8, or we're going to rank our football teams. Will Wilmington be number 1 around the county? Will Larry match mine? Who knows? Then we'll have our schedule segment. And that's what we got. But first off, look at that smile that Larry's got, because he knows I'm getting ready to tell you.
Finally, you picked a Red Hurricane for Athlete of the Week. Finally. Right. Go ahead, say it. I know it's bothering you, but I want you to say it. You'll feel better about yourself when you tell our listeners who the Athlete of the Week is this week.
I think I've been telling you all along. Relax, Larry. Relax.
Go ahead, say it.
It's a non-conference loss, Larry.
You'll feel good.
This week we have Chris Hood, senior quarterback linebacker, a 5'11", 212-pounder. And he had 21 carries, 133 yards, a touchdown. It was a 6-yard run. And they ended up shooting off about 4 different sets of fireworks, because he was in, but he wasn't in. Then he was in again on another play, he wasn't in. Then he was in on the next play, now they called that one back. They exhausted about 4 rounds of fireworks for 1 touchdown. And for passing, I had him at 5 for 12 through the air for 54 yards, including the key one, 17 yards to Austin Kelly in the middle of the end zone, front part of the end zone, with 8.3 seconds left, a 14-10 home win over Montour in front of about 57 fans or so at Taggart Stadium on Friday night. And Larry claims he was there.
I was there. I saw the game. What a great finish. Listen, I've been watching Newcastle games since I was a little kid, and that's a long time. I can't think of a better finish in a high school football game at Taggart Stadium than what I saw on Friday night. The play at the end of the game that Chris Hood made was just, it was fantastic. It was marvelous. I think the play started with about 17 seconds left. Newcastle used their last timeout. And so, it was 4th and 3. Even if they get a first down, they have to get back to the line of scrimmage and spike the ball to get another playoff. And that was no certainty that they were going to be able to do that. He drops back. Initially, he makes his read. Looks like all the receivers are covered. What makes Chris special is his ability to move around in the pocket, run the football, and throw it while on the run. And that's exactly what it did. He stepped up in the pocket, took 3 or 4 steps, looked like maybe he was going to take off. And while he was still moving forward, threw a bullet into the end zone to Austin Kelly, who makes a great catch in the end zone, gets pushed out of the end zone for the winning touchdown with 8.3 seconds left. It was a special moment to be a Red Hurricane. Great game, great effort by the kids, and I was glad I was there to watch it.
It's a surprise that you were there to watch it. I felt sure if you were there, you would have been in the press box hanging out with Bob Natal and everybody else that's in the press box. But I was surprised that you were there.
Actually, I have my gang that I sit with over there on the steel stands, as they like to call them. My man Bobby Kerr, little Angelo Fornatero, big Angelo Fornatero, Bercy Giuliano. Those are my guys. So, I kind of hang out with those guys. But it was a great game. It was a great football game. And you're right, the fireworks guy was a little quick on the trigger. He did pull the trigger 3 times without us scoring. And one of those times there was a penalty. I think it was an illegal procedure penalty or something. I know Coach Cowart almost lost his mind running on a field because, again, I'm a firm believer whether it's basketball or whether it's football, you should not blow your whistle or throw a flag unless and until you absolutely have to. Let the kids play. Let them play. You know, the illegal procedure call, I still don't know what it was. And I'm not so sure Coach Cowart knew what it was. And, you know, in the Steeler game on Sunday, really, you want to call offsides on Joe Hayden? Let the guys play, unless it has an effect on a play. But that's my rant. Athlete of the week, Chris Hood, great kid. I coached him in ninth grade basketball. Tough kid, smart kid, everything that you want in a high school football player, and he's having a great year. Very deserving of Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, great to talk to. I spoke with him for Athlete of the Week, and Joe Cowart said he can make all the throws. There's not a throw or a play on the field that he can't make. So he's very deserving of the award. Boy, that was a big moment, a key moment, because you know, you don't want to go down 0-1 in the Parkway for sure. Not with Char Valley and Aliquippa still hanging on the schedule, and then obviously the big rivalry game against Blackhawk coming up down the road also. So very key to start 1-0, but it's also going to be very key to start 2-0. You got to put that one behind you and move forward, Larry.
We're going to talk about that in the Red Hurricane Minute.
There's one thing I learned growing up around here. People should look out for each other. Be friends and neighbors that you can count on. So it bothers me when people who are hurt in automobile accidents get bullied by the insurance company. I don't let bullies run over my clients. I do what I was taught growing up. Step up, stand up, and speak up for those who can't. I'm Larry Kelly, and I'm a Newcastle guy.
We're back with you here on Gridiron. Larry Kelly, Ron Poniewasz, and this is our scheduled portion. And for the first time all season, all 8 county teams will play Friday night. There are no Saturday games. All of these games are 7 p.m. with the exception of Newcastle's game at Beaver. Let's do the Newcastle game first. We'll go with that one. That'll be Newcastle 1-0 in Parkway, 4-2 overall at Beaver, which is 0-1 in the Parkway. I believe they got beat 35-7 last week to Aliquippa. A lot of teams suffer that same fate. And 3-2 overall for Beaver. Joe Cowart tells me that Beaver has a good offense, can really put the points on the board and move the chains, and they have a good defense. So this will be a tough test, and it'll be on the road, and it'll be a kind of an odd time. You know, 7:30. Not too many teams are playing 7:30 games. I'm not sure how that affects a team that's used to playing at 7, but we'll throw that out there. That's who Newcastle.
I don't think it's a big deal. But look, here's the deal. When we look at the box score on Saturday, we're going to look at the number of rushing yards that Newcastle gave up. If they're stout defensively as they were against Montour, we're going to look at the number of penalties that they've had. If they were laser focused and mentally disciplined offensively and defensively to avoid those penalties. And if they can make a few big plays in a game, splash plays, as I think Mike Tomlin likes to call them, they're going to win. They're going to win. But they got to do all three because Beaver's a good football team and it's on the road.
Sure. Okay. So that's our Newcastle game. The rest of these games are all Friday night, 7 p.m. affairs. First off, we have Freedom 1-2 in the Midwestern, 2-4 overall at Elwood, which is 0-3, 0-4 again, Class 2A Midwestern. Elwood City, 21 in a row. I don't believe it is 21 and done. I think 21 turns into 22. Although Freedom, I saw Freedom against Neshannock. They are not a very disciplined football team. They had a kid get thrown out of the game with those 2 penalties that we talked about last week, unsportsmanlike conduct and then barking at the referee. They're just undisciplined. I think Elwood could hang in there. This could be a winnable game for them. Whether they do it or not, I don't know.
Yeah, it could, but until you win one, it's tough to win one. I like Freedom. I watched Freedom also against Neshannock. Freedom has some athletes out there. They made some plays. I agree with you. They weren't very disciplined that night, but I like Freedom against Elwood City.
New Brighton 1-2, 2-4 in the Midwestern at the Freight Train, Laurel. Laurel's kind of like the Lawrence County version of Georgia. Georgia's a freight train. You don't want to get in front of that freight train right now in college football Division I. Laurel's 3-0, 6-0. as we've talked about in a previous segment here on our rankings, with Luke McCoy and averaging 13.3 yards a carry and he's already over 1,000 yards for the season. He might be, who knows, if he has a couple really strong games the rest of the way, he could go over 2,000 before the playoffs. Still got about 4 games left.
Laurel's the real deal. They're going to be 7-0 and 4-0 in conference. And Luke McCoy will have another 100-yard game or maybe more. He's special athlete.
Riverside 0-3, 0-5 overall. This is a Midwestern Conference matchup at Neshannock, 2-1, 5-1. A very, very get well spot for the Lancers in this game, as Riverside hasn't put up much of a fight throughout the season yet this year. I like the Lancers. I like what they've been doing. What say you, Mr. Kelly?
They're getting healthy, too. Cameron Owens may be back. Summerfeld, their quarterback, may be back. They're getting healthy. As I said, they dominate the line of scrimmage. Riverside has had a hard time stopping anybody this year, and they're not going to stop Neshannock on the turf at the Lancers home field. Lancers will win. They'll be 3-1 in conference and 6-1 overall.
Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, 2-1 in Big 7 conference action, Class 1A, 4-1 overall at Union, which has fallen on a little bit of tough times since they lost to Rochester. They've lost 2 in a row, Northgate and Cornell. Union's 1-2, 3-3. This is on the Scotties' home field, so this first time home since that Rochester upset.
Yeah, but Union is so shorthanded. If they're again missing players, they're going to have a hard time beating Our Lady of Sacred Heart. That brings a good football team in, normally strong. They run the ball. And again, it's a numbers game with Union, and when they're short players, very difficult to be competitive. So they're going to have a tough time on Friday night.
And kind of, I don't know how much you look into scores and stuff like that, head-to-head matchups, but Union beat Rochester 16-0. And just last week, Rochester did a big favor to Union. They routed Olsh 34-7. So plus 16 against Rochester. Rochester's plus 27 against Olsh. I'm not sure how these teams are going to match up, but if Union has a full complement of players, maybe Olsh didn't have a full complement last week. I'm not sure why Rochester routed them as easily as they did, but they certainly did Union a favor by beating Olsh and putting Olsh at 2-1. Rochester's now 2-1, and Union's within striking distance, only a game back.
Well, again, if you tell me Union's going to have their full complement of players available, then I say the Scotties win. But that hasn't been the case in the last 2 weeks. And it's hard to win when you're shorthanded at a small school.
Mm-hmm. Couple of big games here coming up. This is one of them. Mohawk 3-0, 4-2 in the regular season, games at Beaver Falls, which is 2-1. 2-3 overall. This is a Class 2A Midwestern showdown. Boy, here it is. Mohawk, show us how good you are. They've got a nice win against Neshannock. They've taken care of business in the other games. Beaver Falls has had a very tough start, but now they've won a couple in a row. They're 2-1 in conference. This is not going to be an easy game for Mohawk, but the Warriors can certainly prove to those around the conference how good they are.
This should be a great game. This should be a great game. For Mohawk to be successful, they need to control the line of scrimmage, much the same way they've done week in and week out, or at least hold their own on the line of scrimmage as they did against Neshannock. If they do that, they can be successful. Beaver Falls has some great athletes. You can't lose containment, or they're going to take it to the house from 50, 60, 70 yards out. If Mohawk can make them play offense one play at a time, one first down at a time, and doesn't allow Beaver Falls to go off on 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown runs, they'll win.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what I like about Mohawk is quarterback play. J.C. Voss throwing the ball about 25. Yeah, he's thrown it about 25 to 30 times a game too, and with accuracy, and gets a lot of good yardage too.
And he can run it. Yeah.
Yeah. Another loser leaves town match. Here we go. Northgate 1-2 in the Big 7, 2-4 overall at Shenango, 1-2, 1-4. The Wildcats kept their playoff hopes alive last week with that road win over Burgettstown. You're going to have to keep doing it. because you lose this one, now Northgate's going to be on, above you, and a lot of other teams will be above you. So whoever falls to 1 and 3 is pretty much planning for the off season, I would say.
Wildcats at home, baby. Wildcats at home on Friday night. They're going to win.
Okay. All right. Another big game, another big one around the county. Farrell, 4-0 in District 10, Region 1, Classification 2A, 4-0 overall. And I believe they had a week off last week. And they are at Wilmington, 4-0 in region, 4-1 overall. Well, this is a big game. This is going to determine who comes out of that region as champion.
Yeah. I'll never bet against the Greyhounds, and I'll never bet against them at home. But they better have their big boy pants on Friday, because Farrell's the real deal. I believe they are number 1 in the state in their classification, as I read this week. And Wilmington may be like number 6 or something. But the game's at Wilmington. There's not a better coaching staff in Lawrence County than those guys that coach up the Wilmington Greyhounds. If this game was at Farrell, I'd be picking Farrell. But I'm picking the Greyhounds because they're playing at home, and they're tough. They're tough on that turf.
I was shocked on Friday night when I heard it was 21-0 Sharpsville over Wilmington. Just totally shocked. And then when I came back to work after covering the Newcastle game, and I heard that Wilmington rallied to win, I thought, really? I guess I shouldn't be surprised because they have a very good team. I was shocked that they trailed the way they did. And I was very impressed that they turned it around and came back to win. And I tell you, one reason why they won is they always have a kicking game. Sharpsville's kicker had an extra point blocked, and kudos to the special teams at Wilmington. James Winters drilled all 4 of his extra points, and that might not be a huge thing in a lot of games, but it's bigger than a lot of people realize.
Hey, kicking is a huge part of the game. Special teams, being able to convert extra points. We've talked about that time and time again. The bigger the game, the more important that kicking game becomes. The more evenly matched the teams, the more important the kicking game becomes. So that's one edge that I'm guessing Wilmington will have over Farrell.
Okay.
And this is going to be a 1-4 game. So, it wouldn't surprise me, a 21-20 game or something like that.
Okay. Larry, I'll let you have the Newcastle game in the mix. What is the one game that you are excited for around the county? We have some big ones: Farrell at Wilmington, Newcastle at Beaver, Mohawk at Beaver Falls. Olsh coming to Union. Well, that's another big one for Big 7 play. What are you most excited for?
Farrell at Wilmington, that's the biggest game of the week. I mean, you're talking about the 2 top teams in District 10, that classification. They played 3 times last year, and they were 3 dogfights. That's going to be a great football game. And I think closely followed by Mohawk at Beaver Falls. That'll be a great high school football game also. So those are the 2 top games, at least in my view, in Lawrence County this coming week.
All right. He's Larry Kelly. I'm Ron Poniewasz. We, as always, thank you for joining us this week. Larry, I'd give you about a 85 on your football knowledge for the week. Good job. Good job.
Well, that's 40 points higher than anybody else would give me. You understand? 85's a B, and when I went to school, that was good enough for me. Look, I've watched a lot of football this year. I like the fact that a lot of it you can watch sitting at home in front of your computer, and I've been able to do that. And, I like what I see. There's been some very good football played. So I hope my comments don't insult the coach's intelligence, but I'm speaking not as a coach, but as a fan. And I welcome the opportunity, and thank you for giving me the opportunity every week to do it.
We thank you for joining us, Larry. Again, that's Larry Kelly. I'm Ron Poniewasz. Thank you for joining us here on Gridiron. Enjoy the games, everybody. A lot of big matchups. Playoffs will be around the corner real soon, and we'll see you back here next week on Gridiron.
I became an attorney because I believe in hard work, fairness, and human decency. In a word, justice. Our workers' compensation clients deserve justice because in an instant, their hard work turns into hard times when they get hurt on the job. No doubt, life is tough, but so am I. I've been fighting all my life, and I'll keep fighting for you. I'm Joe George, and here in Lawrence County, it's personal.